No, because over here, so you see the protractor said, 70 at 7.
Not 70 at 70, so remember the bearing is, we want the bearing of P, so P's here, from Q. So we start at Q on the north line, and we take the bearing clockwise until we get to the line that we want.
Yes.
So we need that full green angle.
Oh, it has to be adding up to 360.
The full circle will,
Yeah.
but we just want that green section of it.
Yeah.
The green section that is made up of the orange section and the pink section.
I know. 180.
Yeah?
70.
180 plus 70, yeah.
And then we'll subtract it by 360 to find the...
We don't need to because the bearing is the green angle, this green angle.
I've got 250.
Yeah. So the bearing is 250.
Yes.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
We don't need to find the... Let me get a different colour. What have I not used? Red. We don't need to find this angle because the bearing is the opposite of that.
Yes.
If we're given this angle, if we're already given the red angle, then it's really easy to subtract it from 360 from the bearing, but in this case we don't need to.
Yes. So
Okay.
250.
Yeah, so the bearing is 250. Okay. So I can't quite remember where we got up to on that page. Did we do question 2 on the workbooklet page?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought we did, and we got on to question 3, and I think we started to do it, but then didn't, or?
We didn't. We started off question 3.
Yeah, we started it. Cool. Okay, so for this one, do you want to use the digital protractor and do it on the screen, and then...
I'll do it on
Or you can do it in real life and then do it on the screen to show me what you're doing. And there's also a ruler because you'll need to measure the...
Yes, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have a little go. Yeah, and if you need a hand, give me a touch. I'm just going to find some extra questions to do afterwards.
I've got 62.
Okay, so how are you going about it? We need the bearing to be 65. So I'll get my protractor.
No, I've got 63.
So this time we need to draw X. No, we need to draw Y. And we're told that it is 65 degrees direction away and 3 centimetres length away.
Yes.
Yeah? So we first need to find the angle, don't we? So
we drew last week. We drew a line.
Oh, did we? We might have drawn that line wrong, possibly. Well, you could double check. So draw the thing, put the protractor on and measure the angle. It should be 65.
Let me see.
Which is here on my drawing.
Yeah, 65.
Yeah? And then what we do, we draw a little line just to mark on where it is. And then get our ruler out. And it tells us that the point Y is 3 centimetres away from X.
Yes.
Yeah? So what we have to do is we have to line up our ruler. It's going to be a nightmare. Line up our ruler with the line that we've just drawn.
Yes.
Yeah? and then mark on where Y is. So it's 3 centimetres away from X in that direction. So I'll just put a little orange dot. So it's going to be there on my drawing. Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah? And then we get rid of the ruler and we write on Y. That's where Y is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And you can even, if you want, chop off the rest of the line that we don't need. So I've just shortened it.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's how, this exact thing is how other ships fight each other in the sea.
Yes.
They have computer programs rather than working it out by hand, but they take a bearing and they have a distance and they measure, the computer will measure exactly where the ship is and plot it on the thing.
Yes.
Okay. How are you feeling about that?
It's getting a bit more easier, but can we have a bit more?
Yeah, well, we'll definitely practice. I'll just find some more questions. Okay. I'll start a new page just to fill the new questions. Do you want to go with this one?
Let me see. Yes. So Gregory is 0, and there are 2 roads. One towards A and the other. Not towards really. Okay, so
So it tells us that Gregory is at O,
yes.
and there are 2 roads, one towards A and another towards B. B is exactly south of O.
Yes.
Gregory walks towards A.
Yes.
What bearing does he walk? So what's the first thing that we're going to need if we need to do a bearing?
So the protractor.
But yeah, I guess the protractor, yeah. Possibly. We don't actually need the protractor in this case, but we might do later. What's
So
the thing
got
that we need
115.
first though, before we even have a protractor?
The 115, the measure.
Yeah, we'll use the 115 definitely. We need a north line, don't we? Because if we take the bearing from 0, we need something to measure it from.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we need to draw in that north line. So that's not even straight, I don't think, but I've just drawn it. Is that more straight? Maybe. So we need to draw a north line so that we know where to take the bearing from.
Yeah.
From north, clockwise, and we're taking the bearing to A because that's where he's walking towards.
Yes.
Yeah, happy with that so far?
Yes.
Yeah, so you were right before. We can use that 115 to work out what this bearing is going to be because it tells us that the road is due south, is exactly south. So north to south is going to be 180 degrees.
Yes. So that's 180 over there, that line.
Yeah, this side's 180, you're right. 180.
Yeah.
True.
And also this line too. This line too. 180. This.
The line, if we extend that line, let me just do that.
Yeah.
Hang on. That's straight, kind of. Yeah, so if we draw a line like that, this is 180.
Yeah.
What we want to find first is the dark green angle from O to A.
Yes.
Yeah? So we don't actually need the protractor here because they've given us the most important angle,
Yes.
one of the angles.
So 115.
115. So what do we do with that 115 to work out the dark green angle?
I got it. And over here, look. It's going to be 115. Is it not?
Not the bearing, because the bearing, remember, is from north. From north
Yeah.
to the line that we want to measure the bearing to. So the line to A in this case.
Yes.
So it's this angle.
Yes.
And you've told me that this side's 180. So we know that the other side is equal to 180 as well.
Yes.
And the angle underneath is 115. So what's this dark green angle, which is the bearing?
115. I got it. Hold on.
You got it? Okay.
$65.
65, yeah, spot on. So you did 180 minus 115?
180 minus 180 add 115, 3, which made 295, 366 is 295.
Yeah, that's spot on. 1 second, I'm just going to have to go answer the door. 1 second.
Okay.
I'm back. Right. Yeah, you were spot on. So you can do it like that as well. What you could have done is, we know that this side
Yeah.
is equal to 180.
Yeah.
So the green angle and 115 must add up to 180.
Yes.
So 180 minus 115 is 65.
Yes.
Okay, spot on. And then the second part of the question, Joshua is at A, so I'll just get rid of some of these lines for a second. So Joshua is at A,
Yes.
and he walks towards Gregory, who was at O. Do you remember?
Yes.
So he's going to walk in this direction. And we need to find the bearing that he walks on.
Yeah.
So what is the first thing we need to do?
So he's on the other one, the pink one, right?
Yeah, so he's at A, the pink one.
And he goes and walks towards Gregory. Where's Gregory?
Gregory's at O, so I'll write that on because that's a bit confusing. Okay.